The following segment is sponsored by North Star Financial and Retirement Planning.
When it comes to creating a successful retirement, do you know what you need to do to ensure your post-work years look the way you want them to? Joining us now are George Fossing and Zach Jenkins. The duo are part of the team at North Star Financial and Retirement Planning, a local area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. George and Zach are also popular radio show hosts, and they are joining us this morning. Hi, it's good to see you both.
Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning. There are a lot of boxes that need to be checked before you enter into retirement. So are there parts of the planning process that you think, seem to get overlooked?
Well, a couple. One, it's basically, the big one is healthcare costs. Looking at that can be very expensive. Of course, long-term care expenses, custodial type care, things like that you really need to be in front of because it can devastate a retirement. Also really having an income strategy. Looking at supplementing your Social Security is a big deal because a lot of people don't have pensions anymore. So making sure you don't run out of money, I think, is a big one. And lastly is inflation. Inflation is real. June of this year to last year, inflation was up 5%. And for people out there liking safe money that are in CDs, they're earning less than 1%. You're down 5% because the money, your expenses are going right by it. So understanding your safe money choices, I think, is a big deal.
Absolutely. I know this is never a one-size-fits-all situation with you, but how should your current age and stage factor into your planning? There's a lot of factors to look at, right?
Well, sure. Absolutely. The big one is when you're looking at your age, you got to go ask yourself this. We're all getting older, and time becomes a little bit more compressed. What I mean by that is, you can't invest like you were 20 and 30 when you're late 50s, 60s, early 70s. Why? That TIME word comes into play. The market drops like it did in 2008. It dropped, 55% or so in about 16 months. It took over 4.5 years just to get back. Who wants to wait 4.5 years just to get back to where you were? What are you supposed to do? Go back to work or not spend what you saved for because you're waiting for the market recovery? You want to take that out of the picture.
That is not part of the plan. So when you are in or approaching retirement, we know it really is important to protect yourself from potential future tax increases. Let's get into that a little bit.
Well, it really comes down to one thing, Margaret. It's about, people that have worked hard and saved. It's about them keeping more of their money and paying the government less. We know that in 2026, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, a lot of those, favorable tax rates are going to revert back to where they were pre-2018. So that being the case, we know taxes are going to be up. The outcome is people are going to keep less of their retirement funds and the government's going to take more. So there's an opportunity for people to work on that and get ahead of that. The downside of that also is if people don't plan for it, they're going to have to take out more to offset the amount of taxes that they're having to pay, and then, run the risk, or at least there'd be a more likelihood of running out of money, which is also a big no-no.
Right. Well, you're always able to teach us some things. So what are ways that people can reduce their taxes in retirement?
Well, the big one we look at is really, Zach just said, getting in front of it. And, we talk about this basically every week because it's that important. People need to be aware of it. Folks out there with 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, SEPs, simples, things like anything that's tax deferred out there. If you're over age 59 and a half, it's a sweet spot between 59 and a half and age 72. You can do a lot of work, get very creative, and do these Roth conversions. Now, they're different than Roth contributions. Somebody says, well, I'm doing my Roth contribution. It's completely separate, and there's no limit to how much you can do. It really makes sense. So you take it, pay taxes, if it makes sense, on a portion of it. You don't want to go jumping up a tax bracket, right? It's a little complicated, but just give people the theory behind it. Pay taxes, put it into this Roth IRA. The Roth IRA, all the growth, what you put in there, of course, is tax-free when you take it out, but all the growth is tax-free. So if you can take $50,000 and turn it into $200,000, maybe in 5, 10, 15 years, that $200,000 is off the radar of the IRS. That is a huge deal.
You can help us plan for it all to have the best retirement possible, and we love to check in with you about it every week. George, Zach, thanks so much for the conversation.
Thanks so much, Mark. Have a great morning.
And for those of you at home, if you're currently retired or getting close to retirement, would like to learn more about how you could potentially reduce your future taxes, as well as help protect and grow your hard-earned savings and investments, North Star Financial has a great offer for you. Right now until October 24th, they're offering a complimentary no-obligation retirement and investment report. The report will include potential tax savings opportunities and ways to reduce the effects of market volatility on your portfolio. Their team will schedule a phone call, video call, or future in-office meetings so they can speak with you personally and provide you with a roadmap going forward. The number to call now, area code 864-309-8146.